Friends, good morning, everyone. My name is Katarzyna Isidorczyk, and I'm very glad to welcome you to the meeting and thank you for joining us, especially this Monday morning. And this is the next meeting of the WaterDrive online conference on water management and agriculture landscapes. And today's meeting is dedicated to tools for cross-sectoral educational of water management in agriculture area. And Zanis, could you show the next slide? Thank you. And the meeting is planned for 2 hours with short 2 minutes break about the 10 o'clock. And in the program today, we have 4 presentations. 3 of them, it will present the results of WaterDrive project, but also we today have the opportunity to learn about the experience of live good water integrated project in Latvia, and many thanks for Anita, for project coordinator, for accepting our invitation to participate in WaterDrive workshops. We have also the presentation of Maciej Kowalczyk and Piotr Dąbrowski about the practical online tools, and it will be after break. And also we have a presentation about the experience of our Russian colleague about the communication tools, and I hope that Ekaterina joined to us soon. Okay, so I think that we can start the presentation. Yes, okay. Dennis, could you give the next slide? Okay. I would like to show shortly about the training materials. And I would like to present the comprehensive water management training and educational package, and which is a final product of work package 5.2. And next slide, please. In developing these training materials, we wanted to transfer the main messages of the WaterDrive project regarding water management in agriculture area. First of all, it's necessary to move water management from the farm scale to the catchment scale. Secondly, it's still necessary to overcome barriers to wider use agri-environmental measures. However, it's important to remember to do the right thing at the right place, which means that the measures must be selected according to identified problems and local conditions. Only then will they be effective. If we move water management from the farm level to the catchment level, then multi-stakeholder cooperation is necessary. It's needed because the cooperation of farmers among themselves or farmers with local or regional authority. And such multi-stakeholder cooperation is also often needed when apply agri-environmental measures, especially if we do it in the catchment scale. Okay, next slide, please. Our target groups are primary agriculture advisors, especially this new type of agriculture advisor connected to water management, called in some countries the catchment officers. But we also assume that farmers themselves can be directly interested in gaining knowledge. Since we are talking about multi-stakeholders cooperation, we would like the materials to be distributed also to water management institutions and also local authorities. And important groups are also special planning officers that can influence the use of catchment area. The materials, the training materials can also be helpful for pupils from agriculture schools. And next slide, please. The main goal was to develop the product for the target groups, which can be used after the end of the WaterDrive project. This product will be used for self-education. We also can use at work, for example, by catchment officer with discussion with works with farmers. And we would like the materials to help overcome barriers and also build trust of the target groups in agro-environmental measures and also multi-stakeholders cooperation. However, at the same time, we would like to draw attention to the fact that decision and action on individuals can influence the quality and also quantity of water. We want to show good practices and share our experience gained in the project. And finally, we hope to change the behavior of the target groups. Okay, next slide, please. Okay. And now few technical details. Our training materials are provided in the form of a website with presentation. The website will be available in 9 language versions, English, and also languages of Baltic Sea region countries. This website can be operated from the computer, but also from a mobile phone. The presentation can be browsed from the website and also download as PDF file. And we would like to edit this presentation we added to presentation the links to reference and also links with video and presentation from WaterDrive online conference. However, these materials will be in English or in national languages. Okay. When we tell that water management in agriculture area require multi-stakeholder cooperation, we should also add that we need also multi-sectoral knowledge. The training materials gather information from hydrology, ecology, agriculture, but also economy and social communication. These materials are divided into 4 boxes. The first of them assumes that the basis of proper resources management is the understanding of processes. For instance, understanding of interaction between water and soil. The second box is about valuing water in agriculture, and these first 2 boxes were developed within Work Package 5, while in the next 2 boxes are based on achievements of other working groups in WaterDrive project. The third box is devoted to agri-environmental measures and presents the works of Work Package 3. It's also necessary to learn leadership and cooperation techniques based on knowledge of social communication, and this is the subject of box 4, which is based on work of Work Package 2. The next slide, please. Box 1, water soil landscapes, covers topics related to these 3 elements: water, soil, and landscapes, and their interaction. Water and soil focus on explaining the processes involved, and most importantly, showing how agriculture activities affect them. And the next slide. Where the landscape shows the different elements of agriculture landscapes in terms of the influence of water retention, biodiversity, microclimate, which also has an impact on crop fields. Against the background of these processes, we show the pathways of pollution transferred from agriculture to aquatic ecosystems. Please, the next slide. And the second box deals with the evaluating of water in agriculture. Here we focus on showing the water consumption in agriculture production and also the possibilities of reducing the water footprint of the farm level. Okay, the next box, the next slide, is dedicated to agri-environmental measures and presents the work of work package 3.1, coordinated by Katarina Kelmer. And the materials are divided into 4 categories according to the place where the measures is applied. And we have, therefore, agri-environmental measures in a field. The next group is measures applied between the field and streams, directly in the aquatic ecosystems, and also at the catchment scale. Okay, the next slide, please. And this presentation are based on short description of the measures prepared by Katarina team and are the invitation for further deepen the knowledge on the basis of the website WaterDrive catalog of measures. This is the part of WaterDrive main website in project WaterDrive. And also will be applied by the SLU website. And when and here you can find more detailed information about all these measures. Okay, please, the next slide. But as I say, in one of WaterDrive's key messages is to do right thing in the right place. That is why as a part of training materials, you can find also information about tools which help you choose the measures and also where to play it. It's two tools. This is planning toolbox and also water guide tool. Okay, and the last box deals with social communication techniques, which is in the case of multi-stakeholder cooperation became the essential tool for catchment officer. The leading a group or facilitating cooperation are skills that are necessary for very effective work. And presentations are based on the work on work package 2. And this presentation, the next slide, please. This presentation materials will be also introduction to the full materials as a PDF file, but also to the online tool, which Maciej will tell us after the coffee break. Okay, the next slide. And we would not like to stick to the theory of leadership and collaboration, but we would like the training materials to show practices as well. And that is, we would like to use the work done in WaterDrive case area coordinated by Frank from SECAS. And next slide, we would like to show to show how the local cooperation IKEA's area was like when carrying our investment plans. And I think that this WaterDrive work experience can be a good practices for others. And the last slide, please. Unfortunately, presentation and also the website is still being developed, but today I would like to invite you to visit it. As soon as the work is completed, we will send to you the information about it, and also we will be grateful for your comments. That is why please send us there, and we will try to improve our materials. Okay, the next slide, and I would like to thank you for your attention. Thank you. Okay, I hope that we have now 5 minutes for the question or your comments. Please, you can use the chat box or raise the hand or turn your mute your microphone.
Well, I have a short question. Will anyone be able to use these materials to educate themselves, or how to say, or is it some specific target groups?
No. I think that everybody can use. It will be the open access for these materials, and we try to put the information, use the language which can be easier to understand. We try to put the scientific knowledge as the knowledge for everyone. That is why I hope that this it will be useful for all. That is why we also decide that it will be maybe shorter material than this long, but it will be also in national languages, not only in English. Thank you for your questions. Some others, maybe? Okay. Okay, that is why I would like to invite Anita Jelma from Life Good Water Integrated Project. Hello, Anita. The floor is yours.
Thank you for the invitation and the opportunity to speak. I must admit that in the past 2 years, I have mostly worked in all Latvian projects, so my speaking English can be a bit rusty, so I'm sorry for that if that's the case. And I can see that my close colleagues, for example, Dace is here, so if there is some moment that you see that I can't speak the words or I'm missing something, then please help me. Thank you. So I will try to share the screen. Is my presentation showing okay?
Yes,
okay,
it's in nice. Full screen. Yes.
Okay, that's nice. Thank you. So yeah, I'm here to speak a bit about the experiences of project which goes on in Latvia. It's a Life Water IP project. It's a live project. It's an integrated project. All of its partners are in Latvia, and you can see there are quite a lot of us. It's 19 of us, and to just introduce myself, I am Anita Jelma from Latvian Rural Advisory and Training Center. I work with the projects of internal development of the company. So this is the one I'm working currently on. About the project itself, the overall aim of the project is to think about the water bodies in whole Latvia and to think about different ways how to improve them and how to, for example, implement all the river basin management plans and how to implement them in life. And the expected results are that the water bodies at risk should be in better state by the end of the project. The project length is 8 years. 2 of them are gone already, so, almost. And well, there are still 6 years to work for us. And by the end of the project, we hope that the expected results will be covered. And as one of the things out of, I don't know, hundreds, there's a lot of things that we are doing in this project. As one of the things is the creation of the training program for different target groups to teach people, to teach I don't know, even governments and other groups of scientists, for example, who are not in the field, like different target groups, to teach about the water management and about the expectations and possible things to do in different areas. So this is our country. It's Latvia, and here we can see the map of our water bodies. And here the green ones are those who are in good state, yellow ones are in moderate state, and just few are in red, which are in really in poor state, which we should really work on. And also, of course, those who are in moderate state should be improved. So what about the partnership? Well, my team was the challenges of the partnership while creating the educational program. So what about the partnership? We are quite a colorful bunch of people there. And well, I tried to kind of divide us in some groups. So there are farming community, there is forestry community, there are scientists, they are those who care about the nature, and there are the government, and also those who have to care about the wastewater management. So in this whole bunch, we are 19 partners, and I kind of tried to put each in some kind of their own box. And you can see that we all care about the same territory, but each of us have our own interests, each of us have our own thoughts, each of us have our own targets and aims, and we just have to come together to speak with each other, to understand each other, to try to speak others' language, so we can understand each other better. So it's quite a challenge. And well, here we are trying to create this educational program together, and including all the needs. And it can be a challenge. It really can be a challenge. But I would say that during these 2 years, we have already found a common ground and a common language, let's say so. And it all started with a need for education. At first, a few of the partners came together and tried to kind of expand the team. Well, we had the need for educational programs, so we tried to expand the team and try to understand what should we teach, what should we learn, which are the target audiences, and also what themes are actual for which target audiences. Then the next steps are the preparation of educational materials. This is the thing that we are doing during this year, and well, we have come quite far. We had also the test educational events. What does it mean? It means that we are not going straight to the target audience with the teams, with the program, but firstly we told these lectures to each other and got the feedback and tried to understand what can be done better, what should be improved. So in the end, there will be for the educational programs for which will be included in a learning platform. And for those, for example, the farmers and foresters, they need some kind of certificates that prove that they are teaching their learning, that they have some further education. So there will be also tests so they can get the certificates. So I'm speaking about the 4 programs. These are the 4 programs. The first one is forestry and water, then there is agriculture and water, aquaculture and water, and wastewaters and water. For the 3 of the programs, for agriculture, forestry, and aquaculture, there is the common like first phase of the educational course, and all of those who are interested in the courses should also learn this common thing, which is the water itself. Like, what is water? What should we expect from water? What's happening? What's happening in this? What's happening outside of it? And also the ecosystem approach is an important theme. Usually we are thinking about things from our own perspective, but through the ecosystem approach, we can see the whole system coming together and how each thing affects others, and how can we do better to while speaking about it. So about the, for example, forestry program, this is what the forestry educational program looks like. So there's this common thing of natural circulation of water and ecosystem approach. I'm sorry if some of the authors are listening. I didn't precise the names of the lectures, so it can be a bit not so good translated. So therefore, the forestry, there are forestry processes. And then the water through different forestry processes, then there's an information about specific water bodies, and also a dictionary, which not always is common. Different people are using different translations, different approaches, different scientific papers, for example, from which the information is coming. So the dictionary is just to find the common ground within the for example, forestry. And then the agricultural program consists also of this common thing, common themes that I'm not showing here. And then there's in the like a common theme about the impact of agriculture in the water, on the water quality. Also, there is a separate theme about amelioration. And then we are speaking about the practices, the very practical things that can be done and that should be done on the fields, in the farms, in different areas. For example, why we need the ecological areas, where should they be made, and what are the different, all the different things that we can do in each praxis to improve the water management itself. Then, for example, here is just the example of the authors of the agricultural program, and you can see that there are, I don't know, like 11, I guess, authors from six places that are coming together and trying to make one educational program, which should be like homogenized somehow, which should look like from lecture to lecture, which should look like easy to learn or something, yeah. And it can be a challenge because, for example, the scientists, they speak one language. Those who work in praxis from our organization, for example, they speak in farmers' language more. Then there are those from the, for example, Latvian Nature Fund and Baltic Environmental Fund, which speak also a bit another language, and each of the authors has his own or her own approach how to speak the lecture, how to prepare the lecture, how it will look, and the homogenizing of all of it, it's quite a challenge. Well, for example, for now we are in the process of finalizing the presentations, and the next step is to make them even. I don't know I don't even know what's the correct word for it. So yeah, that's the challenge. So also here is the example of aquaculture program, which consists also from these two obligatory forms, and then fish farming, impact of the pollution of fish farming, and the impact of aquaculture on water and environment. And then there is the wastewaters and water. They are not having this common theme that three other groups, but they have their own themes. For example, and I forgot to tell about the target groups. For example, for the forestry theme, the target groups are advisors who will be teaching the foresters, for example, the foresters themselves, also those who work in the forest, not just forest owners, but also those who work in the forest. Then, for example, for agricultural program, the target groups will be also the advisors. Of course, it's very important to educate the advisors on these themes. Then there will be, of course, farmers. There will be some of the themes will most probably go to the university, and some of the themes will go to a vocational education level also. And for example, for the next years, we are planning also the forestry and agricultural themes to include them in the CAP, those learning programs. So any farmer can learn it. So what about the next steps? So the next steps of our process will be the finalization of the educational materials. Then we are also creating the educational platform, like further educational platform where anyone can log in, go through all the courses, take their tests, and get the certificates. Then also each year there will be trainings in the field on the spot, or how to say. I really hope that we will be able to do it we'll be able to do it soon. So yes, each year there will be trainings, and also in parallel these online trainings will be available. So also one of the next steps is the recording of video lectures and the inclusion of all the programs in CAP, in further different for example vocational schools. For example, the aquaculture program goes to the vocational school also, and in universities, in the other different places, not just our platform and our thing. So Yes, the main thing maybe is that, well, yes, we are creating the educational program through the project, for the project, but we really are aiming to list it in other places for really different target groups to use. So yeah, that was quickly from me. I guess I'm in time. So yeah, thank you. Some questions maybe?
Thank you, Anita. It's some question to Anita.
Oh, there's something in chat. Maybe that's a, you have something to add or some.
Well, I have a question. Thank you, Anita, for very interesting presentation. And I see on your last slide that you are from Latvian Rural Advisory and Training Center.
Yeah.
And my question is it really very requested from all target group to visit training center? I mean farmers who is now implement their activity. They are not wish to be farmers. They are not students. They really now farmers. How many farmers really requested to have special training center for them?
Well, just to kind of tell about our organization, we are partly owned by Ministry of Agriculture. So we are working not only with those farmers who can and are willing to pay for their own education. We are working with a broad variation of farmers. We are covering the whole territory of Latvia. We have 26 branches in the whole territory of Latvia, and it's like, I don't know, like 300 educators and advisors are working there. And yes, it is needed. Farmers are coming to us. We work with farmers for since 1991, I think, yeah. And it is requested. It is requested. It is needed. We are really trying to work with the most actual teams which are going around. We are also one of our duties is a national rural network. And through this, we are also educating not only farmers, but also rural entrepreneurs, rural inhabitants in themselves. So yes, there is a need for it. And well, if we would be just a private company without a funding of for example, different projects and Ministry of Agriculture and so on, then we would, of course, be much smaller and much more targeted. But right now, our target groups are really different. And yes, the smaller and bigger farmers, yes, they are coming and interested.
Well, but you say that it's necessary for them. Does it mean that they start to train something when they have, I don't know, direct order or direct recommendation from the ministry? Or so?
Well, it really depends. It really depends. There are farmers who are coming that they are interested in the theme, of course. And then, of course, there are farmers who need it for the paper, so they can apply for the projects, for example. Yeah, the story can be really different.
And I ask about it because From the one point of view, of course, it's really good place to promote these WaterDrive ideas to target groups, directly to target groups. But when we think about cross-sectoral dialogue, I see your programs very, not very specific, your project about different field of environment and how to enhance, how to be more ecological, how to establish a cross-sectoral dialogue.
Well, usually we work with farming teams themselves. This project is, well, it's kind of our internal goal to teach ourselves, let's say so, and to make the dialogue with different stakeholders, because it's, well, we live in Latvia, we are quite a small country, we know each other, we have to work with each other, we have to speak with each other, so we are really trying to do it. And for example, as for the farmers, well, there are different kind of farmers also. There are those who are interested more in the profits, those who are, for example, the biological farmers who are interested also in the environment, and each of them have their own interests, and also those have to come together. And it's not that simple that it's just farmer, then it's environmental someone, then there's ministry. We really have to speak and be together. And well, this was our initiative to come in the project, to be in the cradle of the teams. So yeah, it's important for the community.
And do you have an experience in elaboration of educational materials, not for farmers, but for the ministry, for regional authority, for municipal bodies?
Mm-hmm.
On the same topics. I don't know, about forest, about water, but not for them who have to implement something, but for them who have to elaborate legislation or rules and so on.
About the water, it's the water team is new for us. It's not something we work on for quite a while. It's new for us. So yes, that's new for us. But for example, yes, we are working very closely with Ministry of Agriculture. We are working very closely with municipalities. Maybe we are not speaking with them just about the farming, but also about the rural businesses. And so the different topics which are actual in the rural areas. It's not just agriculture, it's the rural area we are thinking about.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for the questions.
Thank you. That's a good.
Yes, hello everyone. I'm representing Baltic Environmental Forum Latvia, and we are project partners, and we are working together with Anita in this Life Good Water project. And I just wanted to small comment that first of all, thank you for WaterDrive project for inviting us and to present and to network also, because you have elaborated a lot of nice materials so we can use and share experience. And also my comment regarding this target group, farmers in our project. As far we are like integrated project, so we have a very wide range of partners. And this farmers parliament, like Zemnieku Saima, they are also partners in our project. So we can reach this target audience, farmers, through them. They can also spread the information about this training program and encourage them to participate. So this is this benefit from integrated project, that we are really have this cross-sectoral partnership as well, so we can reach wide audience, and we are really looking forward to next steps of the implementation of those programs, so to reach the better this water quality and understanding and also improvement. Yes, so we are, so yeah, that was a small comment. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dave. Okay, any other comments or question to Anita? Okay. If not, I think that I would like to thank you very, very much for the presentation of Live Good Water project. And I saw that you are very, very ambitious educational program. It will be a, yes, yes.
It's quite ambitious, yes.
yes, but it will. I sure that it's very important because, like also in WaterDrive, during almost all workshops meeting, everybody say that educational training, this is what we need. We couldn't change behavior of people, the way how water management is going without this training, without education. That is why I cross finger for your training materials. And I would like to invite for the short break. For now, we have 10 minutes, and at 10 o'clock we start with the second part with the next two presentations. Okay, thank you very much for now, and see you at 10. Second part of our workshop today, I see that Piotr and Maciej is now. And okay, that is why I would like to invite you to present the next presentation. And as I know, that Piotr Dąbrowski will be the first. Please, Piotr.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah. Thank you very much. Can you hear me? Is everything okay with the connection? Because this morning I had some troubles, computer troubles. So
we can hear you and see you. Yes, it's very good.
Fine. So I'm already introduced by Kasia, but just to add something more, I work as a manager of the Agriculture Innovation Unit in the CDR, Center of Agriculture Advisory in Poland. My office is located about 20 some kilometers from the center of Warsaw. And personally, I'm instead of Janusz today. So for some of you, I'm probably a known person, but for some of you, unknown. But of course, I have been participating in several WaterDrive projects meetings. But just to repeat, today's participation is instead of Janusz because he's not able to join us due to some personal, private reasons. So first, I would like to thank, of course, organizers for giving us a chance to say a few words about our activities connected to education in water management system. My company, in November and October, organized several trainings for advisors, for water advisors, because we have created a specialization of water advisory in our structure. Hopefully this specialization will be implemented into the legal system next year. So it will allow us to certify them. The program of the trainings was partly from WaterDrive project and partly from some other resources, like for example from Water Agri project, in which we are also involved in today, and we will provide this project till the end of 2024. Besides that, it was also our initiative to create local water partnerships in Poland, to gather people representing different bodies on the local level, like for example, authorities or some farmers or some scientists, as well as some other people. And the local partnerships, local water partnerships, we hopefully be able to provide in the common agriculture policy in the near future. And we expect that this partnership will be able to not only to educate farmers, but also to persuade them to invest in water management in their companies. And also we are trying to provide some IT supporting tools. There is a methodology almost prepared to calculate the water needs in the farm. This calculator will be probably implemented into the integrated IT platform, which we have been constructing since several months. And then, of course, in the future, we will try to organize some trainings for advisors, especially for the advisors coming from the water management technology. So the Water Agri project I already mentioned to you is a project rather focused on the technology, not on the theoretic aspects. And then, of course, we have created together with Maciej a website with some info, some data for useful for coming from the WaterDrive project. This website is already existing, and Maciej will tell you a few words about it in details just after me. So that's it for now, and thank you very much. Maybe you have some questions. Of course, I'm ready to answer for them right now or later on. You can always contact us through the mail or phone. Thank you.
Thank you, Piotr. I think the question may be after the presentation. Yes, and I think that maybe now the Maciej will start the presentation. Maciej, please, floor is yours. I hope that you can share the screen.
Yes, good morning once again. Yes, I will try to share presentation. I think you see this one. It's okay?
It's not in full screen.
I know, but if I put on the full screen, okay, now it's okay?
It's still the first slide.
But full screen?
No.
No, but I think that it's okay.
I have full screen on my computer, but okay. Okay, actually, I will switch to the website occasionally, so I think that it will be better for me to not use this full screen.
Yeah, you can switch them on this left side also, up and down. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so Catherine asked me to show more details, and as just Piotr mentioned, we worked hard a couple months to create this, actually to put together some tools from different work packages for our project to create something more practical. And we hope that we did our job quite nice, and we create a practical online tool supporting water management for everybody who wants to use these tools. But first of all, I think that what you just today morning talk about from the beginning presentation, and Ekaterina asked how you can actually create a real cooperation in the field. And I think that once again, I can try to answer using these four easy easy steps actually to achieve a concrete a project in a field with stakeholders and with farmers special, because it is always, from my experience, easier for everybody that they can concentrate on concrete situation and concrete solution, and to figure out the phase of how they can achieve their goal. So how they can achieve some project, like create a solution, find funds, and go create the end of the project. So I think that it is very, very helpful to remember that it should be like it should be like 4 steps, and we should always remember this is easier for us to go such a phase. So we also use this idea about 4 easy steps to create this tools, and I think now I can try to show you. So I will. I hope you see the website.
Yes.
Great. So this is still address with the company which is creating this tool, but it's, as Piotr mentioned, it's actually ready. So you see like 3 kinds of tools. It's a local participatory toolbox, planning toolbox, with good practice, with lists of good practice, and leadership manual. And on the first phase, as you remember, this was a preparatory phase. You should try to find the more data as you can for your problems, for the project, what you are thinking about, or for find some solutions for better water management in the agriculture area. So this is, you always should think about what kind of, for example, level of application your project will try to figure out the solution. So it will be catchment level, or farm level, or local or national level. It's of course you always should decide and always should create the answer of this level of question about the level of your project and your idea for next steps. It's very important. Then of course on the preparatory phase, it's very important to decide what kind of user, the end of users, or the users which you will co-create your solution. So it will be just farmers and catchment officers or advisors, or maybe you need some technical specialists or special planners. So it's always important to choose this in the next step in the preparatory phase. And after you are in the preparatory phase, you can go inspire on this toolbox, planning toolbox, with good practices. So right now there's couples good practices around the Baltic Sea. As you see, you can, for example, choose one of these, like a reduction of phosphorus with a gypsum, for example, and you have a description what the scale is, a possibility of this solution, a type of user, type of tools. So you can be inspired here how, for example, our partners from the WaterDrive project already done this kind of project, this kind of solution, and what kind of recommendation they have for you. So it's maybe not a big catalog, but it's a very practical and good catalog, because all of this initiative are already finished. So you can see a lot of information. Sometimes there are some special links and special direction. You can go for more information. So this is a preparatory phase, and after this you should go to the analysis phase, the second steps. So when you want to use your when you want to start your analysis phase, you can still use our toolbox with good practice. And if you want to make this faster, you can just try to choose the problem, what kind of problem you want to solve. Yes, land rotation, reduction of nutrients, erosion. So it's couples problems that you can easily find how our partners from WaterDrive project get this solution. And on this moment in the analysis phase, of course, you should use all your data which you collect on the first steps, and on information, all information. And the next step, the third, is a goal setting phase. So when you want to create a good steps on this moment, you should choose the third leadership manual direction. Like here, you can write the articles on what is the leadership's idea, some practical suggestions, and how, for example, use different kind of working to make a progress to create a solution using the idea of leaderships, because it's always for you it's obvious, but for our farmers it's not so easy. That it always have to be one person who should press this process into the future. So it's always important for good management to have a leader about this project which you want to achieve. And of course, it's very good on this moment when you start to thinking about who will be this leader, and actually how you should prepare everybody. It's always good to have some workshops of course, in the fields when the stakeholders are. It is for us, it's on the second steps, like in the analysis phase, we used to create some workshops in the field, and this is our actually 3 weeks ago workshops with different province. There's a Kutno province, and this Tomaszów Mazowiecki province is around Łódź. Kutno is actually on the right side, this photo, and you see Professor Izydorczyk also, because we create such workshops to try to show the water local agreement, which Piotr just mentioned, how they can make another steps, like, because they are on the somewhere between 2 and 3rd phase. So it's good to create some workshops in the field on the second steps. So when you try to create your goal, the best idea is to use a couple workshops with the leader and choose together, but of course in the concrete direction when you want to go. And we try to make some work and we recognize that it's very good and very useful when you are using the map, and you will try to show a lot of problems on one map, but when every stakeholders from, for example, catchment area or from province area, actually on these photos you have a province area, it's a Łęczycki province, you can easy figure out that there are some main problems and there are some not so important problems. So it's the process of decide which goal is more important when you see the whole picture on the map and the whole picture of rivers and catchment area. It's easy for everybody to decide that, okay, maybe my field is important for me, but when we see the catchment and whole picture, you can figure out that, okay, so in this moment, it's not that the investigation on my field is not the most important, because if we don't create some solution in different place, I will still have a problem. So on this moment, actually, we can easy go when we know what is the goal, what is our project goal, the most important, maybe some smaller ones. Also, it's nice to see this methods and this start this co-creation phase. So on this moment, you can use our website methods local participatory toolbox, and as you see, there are a couple of them, and of course, you can also always take the information of each of these methods. But in my opinion, it's usually you don't have so many time to decide which one, write about everything. But you can use this checkbox and, for example, see which of these methods are better for the catchment level. So they're making bigger, and in this moment you can figure out that, okay, maybe this one, maybe this one. But if you have information who will be involved in your project, who will be involved to achieve your goals, after you decide the area of influence, you can decide it also who will be involved in this process. And when you have this information, it is easier that, for example, the biggest one are the mostly perfect for your goals, and you can also use skills. For example, when you have a leader with a good experience, you can check this checkbox, and you will see which kind of. And as I see, I think that Living Labs is the biggest one, and you can go here and get some information how you should prepare the project and the process using this method, for example. So I hope that it will be very helpful for you to use this this toolbox, online toolbox. Of course, we also have to remember actually that on this co-creation phase, it is very nice to remember about still this leadership manual, because it's very helpful that always when you think about building some teams, it's always connection with the solving problems and achieving impact. So thank you very much for your attention, and I give Catherine the voice. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Maciej and Piotr. And any questions to Maciej?
Maybe
comments? Oh, Piotr, yes, please.
I can add a little bit to this what Maciej said. The website will be provided only in English and Polish language, right? And the English version is almost finished, but the Polish version, of course, is not for you. So we are under construction right now. And till the end, we're supposed to finalize this product and distribute it to the users. And hopefully, maybe in the future, we would like also to add this website or whatever we call it to add this information also into the integrated IT platform I already mentioned to you, because we are, as the company, we are involved in building, in developing the digitalization advisory in agriculture advisory, just to collect many different applications produced by different companies in one integrated platform. So the advisor will be able to find the information in one place in exactly this what he is interested in. This we expect will help very much to farmers and to also to other stakeholders of EKIS system in Poland to exchange the information, to distribute their knowledge coming from their projects and so on. Of course, water and management is one part of that, right? The integrated platform, IT platform will be consisting every part of the farming activity. So my company does the office. My company doesn't work directly with the farmers. We are training. We have been training advisors, and local advisors. They have direct contacts with the farmers, and that is why we have to build as many useful tools as possible for them, for advisors, because they have to be supported in the proper, actual, and innovative information. Right? That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Piotr. Any question or comments to the presentation? I can see. Okay, thank you. And thank you, Maciej, and thank you, Piotr. And I would like now invite Ekaterina to give a presentation about their experience with communication with different target groups. Ekaterina, please.
Thank you. Is it possible for, oh yes, it's possible for me to share my screen. Well, today, now check changing the files. Did you see the next slide with our photos?
We can see only the first slide.
I understand. Okay. What about now?
Yes, now we next slide.
It means that we stay at this format, my presentation. Well, dear colleagues, very nice to be here, and thank you so much for invitation to make presentation, because usually my personal activities stay behind scientific results of my colleagues, and they most of all involve in public space of each project where they present their scientific activities. But within all my 70 years career, I see how the question of promotion of scientific results, at least on the same importance level for the project and for moving forward in our environmental activity as the scientific results. And I listen all today presentation with big interest and always try to ask the question, what was my activity within the project? What I would like to share with you. In my presentation, I fix main outcomes, not only after WaterDrive project, but maybe after my last 3 years project activities. Here in our agricultural institute in Pushkin, I supervise 7 projects, 6 projects from cross-border cooperation program and 1 project from Interact program. All of these projects have obligation regarding communication in different aspects, but communication is always important part. And you know, yesterday looking through the Instagram post, I see very impressive post from Interact project or Interact program. They congratulate and say many thanks to 400 followers for their account in Instagram. Colleagues, just think, 400 followers in Instagram, in most important, popular social network for Interact program, which covers 9 countries in the Baltic Sea region, provide a lot of financing in this region. And at least they have 1,000 person as a staff in different branches and so on, without any external public, but they thanks 200 person. What I say, my personal account, more than 1,000 followers. I'm just a person. I don't provide any money to anybody. But if I start to provide money, I think my followers increase very fast. And within this WaterDrive project, I clearly understood that to support cross-sectoral dialogue, those dialogue where target groups very different and their knowledges about the problem which we try to solve absolutely on different levels, we have to look at the promotion as look on communication as on promotion of products. We have to be sailors. And we have to use the same tools and the same skills when what use people who would like to, I don't know, sell their products. And now on this slide, I indicate those team of those person from our team who have not only scientific knowledge, which is useful for WaterDrive project, but also they have additional tools which allow to be more effective in communication with target groups. Alexander Brюханов, Alexei Trifonov, Eduard Vasilyev, they have not only scientific activities, also they have social and administrative activity within special associations and special expert groups at supervisor body, at farmers body, in scientific fields, and also they very often invited by public organization to provide some kind of expert opinion in the field of agriculture. That's why they very useful guys to be invited to be in a process in communication with target groups. I have education in municipal and regional management. I have a special education in it. I have education in psychology and a special education in business training, but my basic education is environment. And all this education I have got just to be more effective in communication, because I clearly understand that sometimes my environmental knowledge is not very understandable for authority, for example, because they live using a little bit another rules. But we ecologists very often think that if we are talking about so important things as environment, we don't have to do any specific activities to be understandable for target groups. I suppose it's a big mistake. Our question for wide audience is absolutely the same as, I don't know, milk, food, new movies, and so on. It's most important only for us and for small part of population. Because if its question could be most important for everybody, we don't have any activities. People try to do something without us, because people always do something if any problem important for them. Well, go further. First of all, first recommendation which I would like to provide, to use or communicate, to use the same approach as sailors when we promote our information. It's just to remind main activities within the project. And when we was invited in WaterDrive project, of course, we look in the application and we select only those activities which we can implement, which is in the line of our institute scientific interest and activities. I think it's very important to be responsible in the beginning of the project. Very often I hear from my Russian colleagues, oh, it's very difficult to communicate with farmers or with authorities. They don't want to be in touch. They don't want to implement the dialogue. But when I start to ask colleagues, do they have experience before the project in communication? Do they have access to relevant target groups which we indicated in the application? It's a big surprise. No, they are very fresh in it, and the project for them very new, very interesting, and of course they want to learn. Yes, of course. And we have special project when we, within the project, we enhance the capacity of the partners. And in such kind of project, when we try to enhance the capacity partners, of course, it's okay to involve fresh people, to take them on the communication board. But I think for us, WaterDrive project was a project with a concrete goal to establish cross-sectoral dialogue. For us, it doesn't mean that we have to teach establish cross-sectoral dialogue. No, we have to implement it. That's why we, for example, in the beginning say that we can't to be very useful for the project in the work package 4 and work package 5, because at this moment it's not under our responsibility. But in work package 2, work package 3, and partly work package 5, without any concrete, activities in the field, we can be absolutely responsible. Of course, we use, coming back to promotion, of course, we use social networks. And for us, it was additional opportunity to know how many people, new people, we can involve using this approach. For example, do you know about sales funnel? Sales funnel, it's how many people who look at your video or some content in social network, buy your products. For example, 1,000 people look on your video and only 2 persons buy your products. And WaterDrive project give me personally as an expert, good opportunity to calculate how many people looking at my video about project or about I don't know what, but with a link on the project, how many people goes further looking at the video became the followers of their account. It's not good result. 2,500 people have to look at the video and only 1 became a follower. But it's very important information, because if you reading consultants who teach us how to sell, they have for different types of products this amount of people, how many people have to see your information and how many people after that buy your products. We, in our activity, in our environmental activity, we have to repeat the same experience. We have to understand how many people from target group have to see information video, and after that go to investigate what kind of product, what kind of tool we propose. For us, it's important for us because it allows us to calculate the budget for promotion of our products. Because in previous presentation, we see very, very interesting tools for different fields, for so on. But I look at the presentation and think, and what? And how many people from non-specific audience will go to this website, will go to find information on this site? Who knows about this tool except all of us? And it's very pity to promote this platform after the end of the project, because maybe it's necessary to do within the project, as a part of project, to use money from the budget to promote, very widely promote this tool using digital tools. Just to repeat, for us, WaterDrive gives good opportunity to test digital tools. I mentioned this, our School of Farmers, in different events, that's why I will know, repeat it. And main recommendation, and maybe maybe we can discuss it if you wish, main recommendation for communication. Please forget that environment, it's important for everybody. No. And for us, environment, it's a product. And use the same tools as for promotion of the product. Involve an expert with relevant skill. You need sociologists, you need business trainers, you need psychologists. If you don't want to buy anybody, please enhance your skills in this direction. But if I have a problem with my health, I go to doctor. I don't go to good, engineer who read book about health. No, I go to specialist who understand how to manage the situation. Also, select the partner who has access to target group, not those partners who want to find access, but already those who has access. And please use comprehensive communication actions. Also to previous presentation, all of us use only our knowledges to provide those products which present on the platform or on the website. We don't elaborate something special new. That's why please be open for other projects. Please use opportunity from other projects to present your results, and please take results from your previous project, from different projects of your colleagues. Please keep them in mind. Don't try to be very fresh in each project. For example, I had an obligation to carry out several lessons for school children in our as a project look about water quality and so on, about sources of pollution. And with big pleasure, I use wonderful presentation which was elaborated in 2017, colleagues from environmental movement ECA. They elaborate a lot of lessons for teachers about different environmental problems, and they publish it in the open website and internet, and I use their materials. I stay their logo, I add my professional information, but the basic information was taken from their results. And I think it's very good to give further life results from previous project, to merge resources from different projects which under your responsibility at present time. In general, that's all. And maybe I'm today very expressive, but you know, it's my main outcome from these 3 years. And thank you for opportunity to express all of it on a public space. And as a one example, I mentioned on my paper that I would like to say about it. Well, I'm in these environmental topics since 2003. And of course, in that time, we're talking about climate, we're talking about Paris Agreement and so on. But in Russia, it was very slowly processed. It was a Paris Agreement and Kyoto Protocol and so on. But now in Russia, this dialogue about climate change, about ESG, developed very fast during last, I don't know, 4 years or 4 months. And it's just because dialogue in the world was more intensive. We're talking about taxes, export, and so on. And it became very, very interesting, and all target group, even farmers, start to think about it and start to ask the question about it. And it not because they became more environmental responsible. No, it's just because informational space around them full of this climate change information. And when we implement our communication activity within the project, we have to do the same. We have to we have to establish this informational space with information about our problem. That's all. Thank you for your attention. And my cow.
Thank you, Ekaterina. Thank you. And maybe some question or comments to Ekaterina's presentation?
Very pity. I would like to continue.
Yes, please.
Yes, I would like to ask a question about the future. So what are the next steps after the end of the WaterDrive project? Because we always know that as far as project ends, all more or less all good things are like stops. So what is regarding these educational activities? Do you see how you can transfer them in some other new project applications or some other initiatives? So what's next after WaterDrive? Thank you.
Thank you for the question, because I would like to mention it, but forget under my emotions. Well, if we're talking about communication and those insights which we have got thanks to WaterDrive project. For example, we are a scientific institute, and of course one of our obligations to provide scientific products, not only for ministry who are main beneficiaries of our activities, but farmers who are beneficiaries in the region. And looking on the successful of School for Farmers, we have decided to elaborate educational products as video products. And the idea was, and we started to think about it after discussion when I mentioned experience of my colleagues who provide products for women. And firstly, they try to provide concrete products, but after that, they have understood that more commercially efficiency to provide educational materials how to create these products. And now, after 2 years, she has a good business model, good business school. And I propose my colleagues to do the same, because we have to allow people implement the process, taking into consideration their own financial opportunities, but we as a scientific institute can provide this educational scientific support, how to eat, how to, I don't know, support a temperature regime and so on. And I see that it's more efficiency, because people really requested in this scientific support. And for example, if they would like to grow chicken, first of all, they would like to know this information from special scientific institute, but not from, I don't know, even good public organization. Because in Russia, it's still more responsible, and people go to us to ask. That's why, and I can say that it's because School for Farmers show that people listen with a big interest.
Okay, thank you, Katarina, and thank you, Days, for the questions, and maybe some other questions to Katarina or to a whole meeting. Oh, Maciej, please.
Yes, yeah, I have the question actually to maybe to Katarina, but maybe just a question about the special area, Kaliningrad area, yeah, because actually, is there any plan about, like, you know, region plan or government plan for this region, this special zone actually, which is put here on the Baltic Sea, about some steps or just, you know, some Russian funds to make some concrete changes there, yeah? Because as you just told us about the communication, maybe you know something more, because I'm just interested.
I don't see, is there anybody from Kaliningrad? As I see from the list of participants, nobody. As far as I know, now in Russia, we have a main responsibility to provide food security on the whole territory of Russia. And from this point of view, we have to increase amount of animals, amount of products which we can produce without any external products. And I think that Kaliningrad have the same situation, and they will do something with that. Regarding manure management, well, as I mentioned on the specific seminar devoted to manure management, devoted to tools for manure management, we provide for Kaliningrad region a proposal directly to the ministry, proposal how to enhance the situation in Kaliningrad region, and they have all good options to do it, but it's still not interesting.
Not decided.
Yes, but if they get direct request, or I don't know, direct recommendation from this federal level, their interest to do something increase immediately. And we will be ready to continue our cooperation, our institute. Well, and now we discuss it with the head of our institute to prepare a letter from the governor with our idea to continue cooperation. But I'm not sure that it will be taken with wishes to do something without some recommendation from the federal level. But maybe new legislation which ask huge animal farms to implement complex permission for the activity. Maybe this will motivate business to do something. But I can say that business, agricultural business in Kaliningrad, really very responsible. They would like, but of course, without additional financial support, they don't want.
Okay, so as far as I understand, there is no such a plan, and
actually, as far as I know,
nobody knows what will going on, even if some kind of stakeholders are ready to cooperate, but not made to start to be leaders, because of course they can try to find some funds by their own, but it's maybe not so easy in Russia.
Well, they can cooperate, and really they have very good association of not farmers, but big agricultural enterprises. And I can say that in Kaliningrad, it's more strict association. They really know each other. As colleagues from Latvia say, we're a small country. Yes, they're small regional. They know each other and can cooperate. And now I think that maybe changes in our legislation when we start to talk about quality of land. And talking about quality of land, we start to talk about organic fertilizer. And after organic fertilizer, we go to manure. Maybe this can motivate, and now the dialogue in Russia start their movement.
Okay, thank you, Ekaterina. Okay, I understand.
Okay, thank you, Ekaterina, and also Maciej. I don't know, maybe some other comments for today's workshops. I afraid that no. Okay, if not, I would like to thank you, all presenters, and also for all who join, and thank you for your attention for the last 2 hours. And I would like close the workshops, and also because the Christmas time is coming, that is why I would like to wish you warm family holidays.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much to you, Katrina, and thank you for your great leaders today on our webinars.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And also Zandis for your technical helps. Very, very thank you.
No problem.